Welcome back to California Cooking. Prepare your taste buds for the most important meal of the day. We're talking all about breakfast, starting with a brand new bagel pop-up in my neighborhood that's getting a whole lot of buzz. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Good.
Hello. This is such a cute spot, by the way. I drive by, no joke, I drive by this place every single day and have not been in here.
Well, welcome.
Yell at me
Whose fault
now.
is
No, it is my fault.
You're here now.
I'm here now, but it is so cute in here. And you know, when you drive by, you see it's like a wine bar, and I always see people like leisurely enjoying a glass of wine outside. And then I have a mutual friend. We have a mutual friend, Adam and Sarah, two friends, and they said, you've gotta check out the pop-up that opened up inside of here on the weekend.
Yeah, so
me
Smögen
about
Appetizers.
Smögen.
Yes, Smögen Appetizers. Smögen is named after a small fishing village in Sweden,
Okay.
where my grandmother's family derives from.
Oh my God.
And they brought their love of smoking fish to the cornfields of Iowa. And it was something that my grandmother would, kind of pass down to me. And, that with my Brooklyn Jewish father and the kind of the culture of eating bagels and lox on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings was just something that all kind of came together. So it's like a hybrid of
the
cultures.
cultures.
Yeah.
Then how did you two meet and get involved together with this project?
Little League.
No.
I
You
met
had
Jack at a Little
children
League.
in Little League, or you two played Little League together?
Both. No.
We play now. What do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
adults,
No,
yeah.
we have children in Little League
Okay.
together, and he was talking about it, and
Yeah.
I was like, because I have a few other restaurants, and I was like, hey, I have a spot. I think it'll be perfect. This is the way we should do it. It's the most economical, and
Well, it's hard
it'll
to
help
have
us
a storefront
Which
these
is
days or a
great.
restaurant, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy to break into that with a new concept.
No, and being able to come into Joe's Wine Bar and for us to help each other to kind of minimize risk and help each other kind of build the brand and try things and do stuff without the feeling suffocated by a huge commitment to rent.
Overhead is what he's talking
Overhead,
about.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Overhead. I
Yeah.
hear it's a lot these days.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, especially in California.
Oh, yeah. By the way, where do your kids play Little League?
Encino Little League.
Encino Little League.
Joe and I were
Yeah.
kind of
Or
the,
Sherman
I think
Oaks
the
Little
third and fourth coach. We were, so Dad's helping out, with the kids, and we'd always talk about our love of food and the different restaurants around town that we'd go to.
But have you ever had anyone do a pop-up inside of your place before? Is this first?
No, this is our first time. We're doing it here, yes.
Yeah, and so it's just on the weekends, right?
Saturdays and Sundays, 7 to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
We are a permanent, as we say, a permanent pop-up. So we are here every weekend indefinitely, and hopefully we're going to expand into other days and possibly, hopefully, other locations and other things. It's been a wild ride.
Well, how's it been perceived so far? So when you explain the concept to people, go, it's your classic bagel, but it's got a twist.
Well, I say it's not your daddy's bagel shop.
Got it.
So what we're doing, I mean, we're introducing some incredible, like outrageous toppings, really. I mean, where it came from, like the appetizing store in New York, where I live next to a very iconic one, an institution called Russ and Daughters Appetizers.
yes, yes.
And appetizing is generally food that goes with bagels, and it's primarily pickled and smoked fish, vegetables, cream cheeses, and so on. And I was like, well, what's our version of an LA appetizing store, which focuses heavily on fish, but we have such an amazing fish culture here of like sushi.
So we're like sushi bagels.
Yeah, poke.
So as I describe it to people, they're like, what?
Okay.
And I'm like, sushi bagels. He's getting the
Yes, that
he's getting to the origin, but it's
Just
like
cut to the
simplify
chase.
it.
Okay, that is what our friends Adam and Sarah described it to me as. They're like, you gotta go. It's like sushi, but a bagel with cream cheese. And I said, what? I've never heard such a thing. Yeah.
It's called a Philadelphia roll, baby.
No, you're right. You're right. It's like that. And then what about your bagels? So are you making the bagels too?
We make the bagels in-house. They're naturally leavened sourdough bagels.
Okay.
So they're 3 ingredient. They're water, flour, and salt. They use a bread starter, so it's a over 25 hour process.
Right.
We use a bread starter, so we feed that every day, the starter, and we mix that into our mix. And the bagels proof, overnight, and then we boil them in honey water and we bake them.
Is honey water a typical thing to dip the bagels in? It probably gives it a little sweet finish.
Well, it's not really about the taste. It's
Crust.
more about, the
To
crust.
get
and-
kind of a crisp on that crust.
Yeah. So that was important to us. I mean, Joe and I agreed that we wanted something light and airy, but also had that nice crisp and crunch. Especially when you're putting big toppings on it, you don't want it to like be so chewy that everything falls off. You want to be able to bite through it and really get that good bite, but still have some chew in the bread.
And your wife's involved in this project too?
My wife, Monica, owns her own experiential marketing agency, so she helped us with some of the branding ideas, the logo, kind of the look and feel of it.
What, Monday through Friday, this is...
Well, Monday
7
through
days.
7 days a week, we
Okay.
are a wine bar. We have
Okay.
55 bottles of wine by the glass that we're pouring. So you can come in and just like even on the weekends,
get
like
little nibbles
nobody just goes, give me that wine. We taste everybody on the wine,
Yeah.
and we have some pairings with the bagels and with our other food too. So we usually have like our wine tenders that work here are usually really good about pairing wines for people.
So you can come in on a Saturday or Sunday, or any day of the week, but for your bagels, you can sit in, you can have a little wine.
We have
little-
takeout. We're integrating actually this week, ordering online, so you can order online. You either pull up in the back or in the front. We could bring your food,
Yeah.
or come in and bring a party and get ready to toast. And we have our beautiful tower that we put together.
Oh, like a sampler.
Yeah, it's a sample of
Yeah.
all the things we have, and you
Nice.
could build your own. I mean, we're trying to build more of a lifestyle brand of music and culture.
So
and
there's more here. There's more to this.
we hope. I mean,
Yeah.
we see that. And the wine component to all this, and having, the wine bar, it's been such a great marriage. And you wouldn't think necessarily bagels and wine, but it works.
Oh, lovely. Look at these. These are little works of art. So pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell me what we got here.
So we have here the lobster Smögen.
That's a lot of lobster.
It's 3 ounces of lobster. Even though it is on a half a bagel, it's a meal in itself. It's a full-size sandwich with a caviar topper.
Oh my gosh. And look at all that caviar. You guys don't cheap out on your
Very decadent.
toppings.
No.
And this, when you talk about having a little like bubbly or something, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And we did want to make it accessible to everybody. So, as much as these are high-end, elevated toppings, they're still relatively affordable.
I mean, obviously we've talked a lot about how beautiful the toppings are, but the bagels, they're crispy, but they're chewy. Like you said, at the same time, you don't take a bite and everything falls off. And I love it. I think if it's not a toasted bagel, it's like, what are you doing?
No,
You've gotta
we
toast it.
toast here. Then we have the white fish salad, which is a Kampachi collar. We partnered with the Joint Seafood, which dry age fish. So it's a Kampachi collar, an amberjack collar. And so the collar has more fat, so it keeps the meat moist when you're smoking it. So it's still nice and moist. And this is a flying fish roe wasabi topper.
Smoky, but again, like that, if you take your whitefish you'd get at the deli, but like times 10,
Elevate it.
big time.
And then we have Zoe's Poke, named after my daughter, who said, Daddy, you've got to do a poke bagel. And I never thought of a poke bagel until then. I
Yeah,
never thought that was
she's
a
genius.
thing. It's not really a thing until we made it a thing, or Zoe made it a thing. And this is on our furikake bagel. It's like a Japanese everything seasoning.
The first thing is, like you said, you eat with your eyes and you see things first.
Yeah.
I mean, the color
They
on
pop.
this is so beautiful. And there's a schmear on it. Everything you'd want if you love bagels a lot. I cannot pick a favorite. If I had to choose, it'd be tough. I can't. You guys, this is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
So
for
good.
coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Coming up, breakfast continues to steal the show. Baked eggs and puff pastry stuffed with ham and cheese, and breakfast nachos that are sure to become a new family favorite. Weekend mornings for my family are all about sleeping in and enjoying a leisurely breakfast. And these breakfast nachos kick the weekend off right. The idea of breakfast nachos I thought would be kind of a fun thing, and honestly it's just the weekends when I have a chance to make a breakfast, and you know, it's leisurely, you've got time to do stuff that you wouldn't have time to do during the week. So I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to serve up on the weekend, especially if you're feeding a few people, because I think this could feed a crowd. So first things first, some good tortilla chips on your baking sheet. I'm gonna do the whole bag. So I'm gonna just kind of flatten these, and you'll understand why in a minute. To our tortilla chips are the beans that I cooked down back on the stove. Just black beans, drain them, I didn't rinse them. And to zhuzh up our black beans, I added some fire roasted salsa, a little squeeze of lime, and that's it. And I smashed them a little. So we put our black beans scattered around our chips. I know, this is the hard part. You want to get everything on all of the chips, which is hard to do, but you do your best. Now, some of our shredded, I've got a blend, like a Monterey Jack cheddar blend. Next thing, I happen to have a jalapeno. Do a couple thin slices of jalapeno. Okay, sprinkle those around. I'm gonna wait to top this when it comes out of the oven with some cilantro, onion, avocado, but before we pop it in the oven, this is where it turns into breakfast. So I've got our eggs. And what I'm going to do, I trust myself to just do the egg on the nacho, but I might do this. Just to make things so you nestle the egg right in there. Cracking first in the cup might help you just direct it to where it needs to go. But I never really thought about cooking the egg in the oven just like this. And we'll see how we do. As many as you like, but I'm gonna feed a crowd, so. This is also a good one, I think, if you have guests staying at the house. And if you need to, you can kind of move things around to give you a little hole there. You want things to stay put. Okay, eggs are done, but before we do that, a little salt and pepper on each yolk. Because eggs, if they don't have seasoning, they don't taste like much. You gotta hit them with some salt and pepper. In the oven, I've got it set on 375. So you just want it until the whites are cooked, and it depends if you like your yolks a little runny, which I do. So we'll see how long this takes. While our eggs are cooking in the oven, just some fresh ingredients to put on top. So some fresh cilantro. That's Theo. And then a little bit of red onion, finely chopped. You don't want a big chunk of raw onion. And then avocado. You could do guacamole, but I had a half of an avocado already, so I'm just gonna do cubed avocado or sliced avocado. And then a little bit of lime. Lime or lemon. I put a little lime on our avocado. Help keep it from browning and give it a little flavor. Since they're right here, I think a few fresh tomatoes would be nice. And I think we're done. We're just waiting for the eggs. Okay, our breakfast nachos out of the oven. And here's what's really cool, and I didn't realize this would happen. One of the cool things that I didn't realize would happen are all of the eggs are cooked differently, I guess, depending on the heat of the oven in there. So you have some that are sunny side up almost. You have some that are a little bit more well done. So depending on who likes their eggs how, you've got one for everybody, which is so great. On top of our eggs, and I'm just gonna serve them just like that, we've got, let's do our red onion, chopped up, our cilantro, and just hit it with everything. Okay, we've got our tomatoes chopped up, and then plenty of avocado chopped up. This is exactly what I would like to have for breakfast. I'm gonna take a little bit of that salsa, that fire roasted salsa that we added to our beans. A little bit of that on top. Loaded nachos. You almost don't even see the eggs anymore at this point. And then, of course, you cannot have nachos, in my opinion, without sour cream. So I'm just gonna do dollops around. And last but not least, A little bit more squeeze of lime over the top. And your weekend breakfast nachos are served. Okay, Pio, you wanna have some nachos? Nachos! Oh, let's get a good one with the egg. This, obviously you could eat from the tray, but if you have a whole group coming over, you could take a spatula and just get in there. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, look at this egg. Just perfectly cooked. The white is cooked, but the yolk is still runny, which is the way I like it. Not too runny, but you've got crispy chip. The beans, the sour cream, the cheese, so good and so fresh with all those veggies. All right, one last. Oh, this is good. Coming up, one more breakfast item on our menu for today. This one starring ham, egg, and cheese. That's coming up next. It's an unbeatable combo. Eggs, ham, and Gruyere cheese baked inside of crisp puff pastry, and it only takes a few minutes in the oven. Honestly, I think if I had to pick maybe a favorite treat at the grocery store, it might be puff pastry. I use it a lot. It's good for so many things, from homemade Pop-Tarts to pot pies, which I made one last night, which was amazing. There's so many uses for puff pastry. And today, this one is, I just happen to have some in the freezer, and you do need to let it thaw for about 45 minutes, let it sit out. Last weekend, I thought, okay, what can I do with this puff pastry? And I just cooked an egg in the puff pastry, and it turned out to be this lovely, easy little thing. And I thought, okay, let's give it a try. But I'm gonna add a few ingredients to it. First thing, you wanna roll out your puff pastry just to make it a little bit thinner. And again, if you've ever seen people make puff pastry, like on these cooking shows, it is a very intense, kind of complex thing because there's so many layers. It's all about the layers, and what makes it puff is all that butter, cold butter inside. So you don't want your puff pastry to get too warm, but it does need to be out of the freezer long enough where you can actually roll it and cut it. So normally when I would do egg and puff pastry, I would make almost like a kind of quiche where I would add cream to the egg and beat it and add ingredients and then pour it into the cup. But I thought, what if I just dropped a whole egg into a puff pastry cup? And it worked. And this is also, I think, one of those things which is kind of a nice make-ahead for the week. A lot of times you want to just grab something and go to work. This could work for that. Okay, so we've rolled out our puff pastry. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to our cups. I'll probably get 6 right now out of one sheet, we'll see. And then I'm just gonna take a paper towel, and you wanna make sure you can get out your little cups. And you do on top too, because the puff pastry is going to kind of go over the edge and you don't want it to stick. So you rub it all around. Let's try to be even with this. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I just cut it in half. So let's just do that. And you can, if it doesn't quite fit, you can kind of roll it out once you see how they fit into the muffin tin here. Puff pastry is in our little muffin tin. I'm gonna shred some Gruyere cheese. I'm gonna add ham and Gruyere to our cups. You don't have to use Gruyere. Obviously, any cheese would be delicious. Gruyere and ham are a nice kind of French combination. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of cheese at the bottom of each cup, just a little bit, and then I'll do more on top. To that, we have our ham, and I have just like a Black Forest ham. I think of a ham and cheese croissant, which is kind of, you know, a play on that idea. Our eggs are gonna just go right on top. pinch of salt on each one, pepper, and then on top, a little more Gruyere. I've got the oven set at 400, and these eggs will cook pretty quickly. Last thing we're gonna do is an egg wash. So I have a little water in this ramekin. Beat the egg. Got our little pastry brush, and then we just paint the outer edge so that gets nice and brown. And then these go in the oven, and we just check on them. You want the egg to be cooked, but more importantly, the puff pastry to be cooked through. Okay, our little egg cups and our puff pastry are out with the Gruyere cheese melted on top. That was maybe 10, 15 minutes. The hard part is getting them out. You can see the egg is it's got a little bit of give, which means they're not totally cooked in the middle, which is nice. I kind of like that. Oh, look at that. Right out, not a problem. Excellent. That's just what greasing the pan did. Look at how easily. And then these you can keep in the fridge for the week. You heat them up for a few seconds in the microwave in the morning. Now I know eggs are personal, but I do like a runny egg. So totally up to you. Leave it in a little bit longer if you want it to be more hard-boiled in the middle and cooked through. Puff pastry for the win again. For all the recipes we featured in today's show, you can follow us on Instagram at KTLA California Cooking. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Levi, are you ready to call action? You can follow us on Instagram at KTLA California Cooking. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
How did she do?
He did not that good.